Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, your trusted source for deep dives into South African politics. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Today, we're talking about a story that's quickly going from promising to chaotic, and it's about none other than the uMkhonto weSizwe party, the MK party, launched under the towering shadow of former President Jacob Zuma. Just days after the national and provincial elections, the MK party is already being rocked by internal tensions, power struggles, and factional disputes that are threatening to tear it apart. What started as a movement promising to restore the ANC's original liberation ideals has, in record time, devolved into infighting, anger, and accusations of betrayal. So, what's really going on inside the MK party? Why are people who once stood together now accusing each other of backstabbing? And what does this mean for the future of the party, especially with a significant parliamentary presence expected? Let's get into the details. According to insiders, the cracks are showing in multiple provinces, but especially in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. These are key areas where MK performed particularly well, largely due to Jacob Zuma's enduring popularity and the party's anti-establishment messaging. But now, behind closed doors, and in some cases, very publicly, local structures are imploding. In KwaZulu-Natal, where the MK party garnered its stronger support, there are reports of open clashes between Zuma loyalists and newer members who joined the party just before the elections. The older guard believes the movement is being hijacked by opportunists, people who didn't struggle with the rest but are now occupying high positions and appearing on candidate lists for parliament and provincial legislatures. The result? Meetings have descended into chaos. Shouting matches, threats, and even physical scuffles have reportedly taken place. In Gauteng, similar scenes are unfolding. Local activists are accusing each other of gatekeeping and manipulating lists, with some alleging that the National Leadership Corps, MK's top decision-making body, has become too centralized and secretive. And this leads us to perhaps the biggest concern, the role of the leadership and Jacob Zuma himself. While Zuma remains the undisputed face of the movement, several insiders believe he's been misled by those around him. Some say opportunists have taken over the project and are now manipulating Zuma's influence for their own gain, sidelining loyal activists in the process. One unnamed senior MK member put it bluntly, saying, "The same comrades who campaigned together are now enemies. People feel betrayed because they were promised positions, but were left out. The top leadership must take responsibility." In Mpumalanga and Limpopo, tensions are also rising, especially among the youth structures. Young activists who campaigned with energy and passion are now saying they've been completely left out of decision-making. Instead, the same old political elites, many of whom have reputations for corruption and power hoarding, are back in the driver's seat. And here's the thing, this kind of internal chaos is not new in South African politics. We've seen it before, with COPE, with the EFF in its early days, and even within the ANC itself. But for MK, the speed at which it's happening is alarming. They haven't even taken their seats in parliament yet, and already the internal battles are playing out like a Greek tragedy. Political analysts are warning that this infighting could destroy MK before it even establishes itself as a serious force. Lindaya Malangu, a respected political analyst, noted that MK is at risk of following the same path as other breakaway parties, imploding from the inside out due to ego battles and power-hungry factions. This is especially troubling because MK's performance in the elections wasn't a fluke. It reflected real discontent among voters, especially in rural KwaZulu-Natal and urban townships, where people feel betrayed by the ANC but still believe in the original liberation message. MK gave them hope, a sense of identity, and a leader who they felt still spoke for them in Jacob Zuma. But now, with positions in parliament becoming the new currency of loyalty, it's clear that many within MK saw the party not as a revolutionary project, but as a vehicle for personal gain. Still, the the party is trying to put on a brave face. MK spokesperson Lamilo Ndlila has publicly downplayed the tensions, calling them teething issues that all young organizations face. There is no crisis, he said. We are handling disputes internally through party processes. But let's be honest, when community meetings are breaking into fights, when candidate lists are being challenged in court, and when long-time activists are turning against each other, it's more than just teething issues. It's a sign that the foundations of this new political home may not be as solid as its leaders claim. And this raises some big questions for the road ahead. Can the MK party get its house in order before Parliament resumes? Will Jacob Zuma be able to step in and resolve these disputes, or has his influence been diluted by the very people who now surround him? Is the MK party destined to become yet another cautionary tale in South African politics, full of promise, but ultimately consumed by internal strife? One thing is certain, South Africans are watching closely. Because for many, MK isn't just another political party. It represents something bigger, a demand for accountability, for return to principles, and for radical change. But unless the leadership urgently takes control of the situation, all of that could be lost. So as MK prepares to take its seats in the National Assembly, the pressure is on. This moment will test their unity, their discipline, and their true intentions. Will they rise to the challenge, or will they become their own worst enemy? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe MK can overcome these internal battles? Or is the writing already on the wall? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis on South African politics. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.